What's up, guys?
What's up, everyone?
They're
Today,
back.
today is post 420 installment. We
Oh,
didn't
hell
get
yeah.
to we didn't get to actually stream on
It's
420, so
421. It's okay.
we have been doing what we need to do today at least to catch up. Um,
Facts.
that was funny. So
We just laugh at nothing,
yeah,
literally.
exactly. Um, Today we got quite a few topic ideas.
Oh,
Quite a
yeah.
few topic
It'll be
ideas.
interesting.
And a lot of them this time around are um, on mature topics. So no, we better
PG
not have
13.
have
No.
any kiddies in this. Or
PG 18.
if they are, have your parents approve it, even though they can't approve it. 'Cause it's just random people.
Yeah, that's true.
So, do you want to go into this first topic right away, or is there anything you want to say?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I think I
So
think we can get into it.
just to like get a gist of like what this as a whole is gonna be today. Most of the shit we're talking about is talking about virginity as a concept.
Period.
And like uh a lot of things surrounding certain myths like body count or whatever.
Stereotypes,
Yeah, stuff that creates people like incels or alpha males or like these people who like are just so affixed to a certain weird lifestyle revolving relationships. Yeah.
Facts, period.
So yeah, I mean, what was I gonna say about that?
We want to talk about like how like virginity it's a whole concept, and like
Yeah,
how back then, like, you had to get married to get to
yeah,
lose
it was more
virginity.
significant for that
Yeah,
sense.
and even now in some
Cultures
like
and stuff.
cultures, uh like it's still super important, right? So
Yeah, I mean that's a per person basis type thing, but as a whole, yeah, you're right. It's not like this default kind of thing where virginity is as sacred. Sacred is a good way to put it, because
Facts.
that gives it a very,
Distinct.
religious and cultural connotation, more than anything, and that's what it is. It is a like cultural and religious concept.
Facts. We didn't put it on here, but now that I'm thinking about it, how our generation, Gen Z, because of the whole virginity concept and body count, I feel like it makes it really hard to have like real relationships. Like, it's a lot of situationships.
Yeah, I feel like
So
it, and it's kind of just like it's funny just because of the fact that we're talking about how this thing was so originally prevalent for cultural and religious sake.
facts.
And now, because people are still kind of attached to that connotation, hello, whoever just chatted.
You get whoa. You got a license for that dumb
Yeah. That's so funny.
Who's dumb Trump? Who's dumb
I
Trump?
kind of lost my train of thought. Like, sorry guys, we're a little high, and like I'm also ADHD as shit. So yeah, no, I was talking about how like it was an important thing, like religiously and culturally, which is kind of very significant to people's lives in a much more impactful way than like the way it kind of mutated on, because people still hooked on to the fact that like virginity is like this true thing, even though like our society generally has moved on from it. Sorry, my phone's fucking going.
She be buzzing, bro.
I'm turning off fucking. I forgot to turn off Do Not Disturb. That's why.
She be buzzing.
But yeah, like now it's people still hook on to like the fact of virginity.
Yeah.
But
like your first and everything is such a huge deal.
Yeah.
And most people get disappointed. Who gives a shit, bro? Like, chill out.
Even though it should be much of a less significant thing, considering like how useless of a concept it is now for most people.
Yeah.
Like it's really just like it's so backwards that we just have so many double standards on it too. Like virginity is such a thin thing as a
Oh
concept,
yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
the point where, if you're a guy, uh losing your virginity fast and having a high body count is amazing,
Yeah.
like you have all this social
All the
status and
pride that
whatever.
it gives you, it fills the
Yeah,
ego up, man.
yeah, exactly. And then it's the exact opposite way for most women. And like,
Your pussy's gonna be loose.
yeah,
Like,
shit like
bro,
that. There's
shut
so many
up. Do you not
myths
know science?
that evolve from that kind of stupid mentality. And I find stuff like, the whole alpha, beta, sigma fucking shit, all that
Oh yeah.
stupid made up shit is for
Don't get erased.
uh I'm sorry. Like it just doesn't, like, people get latched onto it because of how much they idealize virginity and
Yeah.
whatever. And it's like, bro, it's not that deep. Like, when you talk, when this is a thing, one thing I learned a lot from, like, watching a lot of Dr. K is,
Oh yeah.
like, the amount of times he's talked to an incel, and like the way they speak online, like even these people in specific, I could say, for some of them, they admitted to what they did. um like, you would think like they're just the dumbest people ever, like they just don't know what the fuck is happening around them, and that's why they're
Mm.
failing so much. But then when you talk to them, they're just like really fucking insecure, and they have like a lot of
Yeah.
anxiety. And because it's so idealized within um our culture, like you
Purity
said,
culture. Yeah,
like you
facts.
said like it's tied around to that purity culture. And then they feel like, l- like losing your virginity is something that, like, you just inherently deserve, and
Mm.
if you aren't like the way you are, it's just because you're a beta, and like
Yeah, facts.
there's no way no woman could love you or whatever. And it's like, no, you just are stagnant in life. What boxing yourself with this kind of mentality really does is, like, you just kind of, like, you feel like you can never win against the world, in a sense.
Facts.
So you're just so hopeless. You just,
I f-
stay in the basement, jerk off to Rule 34, and you fucking play League of Legends all day. That's
Yo,
all
I
you could
feel
do
like
with your life, right?
I feel like our generation, like Gen Z, like took a completely opposite toll to it. And if you like don't lose your virginity quickly and don't have a decently high body count, it's like weird. And it's like that's where our other topic about like the pressure towards young people to
Mm-hmm.
lose their virginity quickly is shit.
Yeah,
And
it's
it's
what
just
makes
like, what?
incels, like, the whole, like, market of like alpha, beta, sigma videos on YouTube.
Facts.
That that all started from just guys who are insecure, who are easy to manipulate.
Mm.
And if you manipulate them enough, they'll believe everything on your channel and watch every single video of yours.
Yeah.
Buy all your merch, get all those supplements that only you could sell, because that, for some reason the FDA disapproved it, for some reason, but
Yo.
you could sell it. So, like, might as well get it. Like,
That's facts.
it's true. It's like, it's almost conspiratorial in my mind. Like, it's like the same kind of rabbit hole people fall down into to get into, like,
Oh,
QAnon,
yeah, facts.
but just for like a more younger, like, sad gamer
Yeah,
crowd, which is so
that's weird.
weird because, like, it's so weird because a lot of these people, like, would make fun of people who believe in conspiracy theories and stuff.
Mm,
And, like, the same time, like, look at yourself, man.
that's facts, man. Uh, uh,
um Sorry, we're just reading some of the topics, trying
yeah,
to think of which one to
we're ma-
pick.
I mean, do you have more things on body count to talk? I mean, how we already kind of said it. How guys, it's
Yeah,
normal
it's
to have a
very
high
much.
body count, but if it's girl, it's kind of gross. So it's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
the double standard of like
Yeah,
purity and stuff again.
100%. And also, to go back to what you were saying about, like, the whole, oh my god, the pussy is loose, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like, the thing could have a baby push out of it, bro,
Yeah.
and it'll last the size.
It'll.
I think
Yeah.
your dick won't do anything. That's not how it works.
Oh,
Like, yeah,
that's
maybe
facts.
the first time is a little bit tighter, but it's not as fun to like, you know,
Yeah.
it's just your first time. It's not gonna be as fun regardless. That's not gonna make up for anything.
Period.
Like, that's just how most people. Oh my god, I forgot
Oh
about
yeah, shit.
this. Shoot.
Um, like about like the pressure it puts on like on young people, even at like 13, 14, or even younger. Like people be like already feeling stressed about losing the virginity, and I'm like, bro, you don't even like, girl, you don't got tits yet, or like, bro, like, I don't know.
Sorry, I was just extending the fucking auto
Thank
power
you.
off
I know I
from
have drip.
from my
Period.
laptop. Uh,
She said I have drip.
Amazing.
Period.
Is this one of your homies that's
I think
chatting?
so. I'm
Hello.
pretty sure.
um.
I don't recognize the name, but I'm pretty sure, yeah. Uh,
So one thing that was actually in the stock that I wanted to bring up now that we're talking about, like, a lot of the pressures of like losing your virginity fast, and like um how, like, for a man especially, it's like it like decreases their social status or whatever.
mm,
I find a lot of times, like that just like teenagers are very impressionable, and they'll like easily like do things that, grown-ups just wouldn't ever do for someone, like, just because,
oh shit.
like you just don't have as good inhibitions, is what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
So, like, a lot of times I find, like, because especially when you hear stats like the average age to lose your virginity is 17,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, that's averages of the entire population are such a stupid thing to base yourself off
Facts.
of. So,
It's
like,
like also like the penis size in like
yeah,
China compared to
exactly.
like somewhere in Africa is like you can't
Hmm.
compare. Like
It
it comes so many two different
Yeah,
things.
there's
I
a
don't
lot of
know.
things that influence your life and can influence the statistics. So
Also,
if you're gonna follow statistics, follow them based off of a group you actually are part
facts.
of.
Like we forgot to put this, but everything about like OnlyFans and stuff like that. Like women are like being slut shamed for this. Girl, she's making bank while you're
Yeah,
like fucking
bro.
behind a desk.
We're on Twitch right now. I mean, we're talking about. Gotta talk about Amaranth. Have you
I
ever
know.
watched
I don't know.
Amaranth?
No.
She is one of the top OnlyFans creators, and her main way to market is through Twitch. But Twitch is so rooted within like gaming culture, and thus there's like a lot of incels on it and everything. So, like, like, she gets like the most shit on the entire platform, gets
Yeah.
banned all the time, always gets back, right? Because she's never breaking any rules. She's so smart. Like, she knows how to skirt right across the rules for everything. She's like legitimately a very smart business person. If you like follow her on like her
And she
actual
does
like personal
OnlyFans.
Twitter, yeah, her she makes 1.5 mil a month on OnlyFans.
Fuck.
1.5 a month.
Give me some of
And
that money, please.
she's said she's making that money to build an animal shelter later,
Oh,
so might as well.
props to her. This man, this
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm
facts.
saying. Like, bro, like, there's so many gamers who like, I would say, like, there's so many streamers that are top streamers and they're not the best at gaming and they game all the time. People aren't like getting mad at them, but like, she's literally like the best at her craft. She knows how to
Yeah.
market her shit
Do you
perfectly.
do you remember that university student here in Montreal that like
Oh
she
yeah,
posted it under her like
I'm Haley. No, not
I
I'm
forgot,
Haley.
but
Like some
her
Haley
tits was
thing.
like on
Yeah,
her
yeah,
the
on her.
school book, right? The
Yeah.
graduation.
Well, no, didn't actually get into the book,
Oh,
but
but
she
she
got.
submitted it or
No,
something
no,
like
no.
that.
Cause like, like, when you're in like for the photo shoot for it,
Yeah.
she probably like slipped him a 50 and was like, "Yo, do this for my
Oh, for my
OnlyFans."
OnlyFans. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I think she literally came out and
But she
said
made a
that.
lot of money.
Yeah, she did.
She's making a lot of money.
She's
So
literally like
one of the
in the
yeah,
top of OnlyFans now, which is so funny.
it's crazy.
I remember seeing that like like the hour she fucking posted it. I didn't even follow her on anything. It just spread around Montreal so fast because she's
Bro, I
from
started
here.
on Montreal blog and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. It was on the news. That was so funny. But honestly, huge ups to her.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah, no. One thing that I have to,
Oh, shit.
take a shot at OnlyFans for though is uh well, I wouldn't say OnlyFans. I would rather say like it's kind of the TikTok culture around
Mm.
OnlyFans. Like um it feels like like it's easy for a lot of younger people to like just like want to do it immediately as they turn 18 because of how like
OnlyFans, yeah.
like but I would say that's more because of like just the way like TikTok TikTok's algorithm is more
Mm-hmm.
than anything, because I wouldn't put it on the OnlyFans girls themselves. Like they're not trying to do that shit.
Yeah.
And like
That's facts.
they're just trying to make their money. Like it's a much better way to make your money than fucking what was I gonna say, than like
Look at OnlyFans.
Pornhub or whatever,
Oh, okay.
like
It's also
like
a bit safer because you're in control of it, no?
yeah, exactly. Like you could just do stuff with yourself. Like here's another one. You know the video that was playing when you came in here
Oh
with
yeah,
Mizkif?
yeah.
So I was watching a Mizkif video when he was with Peach Jars and Jenna. They're two huge OnlyFans creators. I don't know if Jenna has, but I know Peach Jars hasn't posted any nude.
Mhm.
It's just all lewd stuff. So it's just like, some ass cheeks or whatever.
Mm.
But she's
Yeah.
still on the top.
Yeah,
So like
exactly.
that's a lot. Like if she was in the actual like direct like old porn industry, I should say traditional, like she would have been pressured to do like full penetration and anal already. But
Mm.
like no, she's taking it on
Also,
her own time and she's making more bank doing it.
like the amount of women that like fake, like even just when you go like on porn sites, like how many women like fake it for like
Yeah,
the
it's so
show,
funny.
right?
It's so funny.
It's just like, bro, like you're punching the clit. She's not gonna come. What are you doing?
It's so funny.
It's just funny.
Bro, some of those like more hardcore ones that's just like stupid.
Gangbangs and shit. Also, all the incest that's on
Ugh.
porn is actually ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's way too much of that. What is going on, man?
Yeah.
Alabama
I
type
was
of
gonna talk
shit.
about it like before, just like some of the stupid shit, like cause hentai even
Oh
fucking.
yeah.
But when you're talking about incest, that's even more so than normal porn. Like that's
Yeah, yeah.
horrible. And it's so funny and like yeah, no, it's just it's hard like because I feel like it's just hard for a lot of people to realize that like this stuff isn't entirely real, even though they inherently know that.
But it depends on what. If you're watching like, how's it called when it's raw? I guess no. What is it? Amateur shit.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Like
yeah, that's different because that's
yeah.
usually actual couples. Like, of course, they're like having a good time if they have the inclination to record it, right?
Yeah.
Like, typically, at least, like, right? Like, at least there's some intimacy in that,
Yeah.
but there's not even real intimacy in most other porn. I mean, I'm sure, like, they don't always fake the orgasms. I mean, but still, and the amount of like time in between they have to cut out because the guy can't get hard because he's been coming too much this week.
Oh.
It's pretty crazy. I've seen like
Yeah.
behind the scenes things,
That's
uh,
funny. That's funny.
like on YouTube or whatever, like whatever, and he was like, yeah, I had to like fucking like it was like 40 minutes and we couldn't do anything.
Oh.
Like holy fuck.
And then the girl can come nonstop. It's funny.
um yeah, what was I gonna talk about? Oh yeah, I didn't even finish one of my older points. I'll actually get back to it because I was talking about how uh like younger people are pressured, especially like teenagers. So let's say like there's a guy and a girl in a relationship, whatever, they're like 16 or 17, and like the guy wants to get intimate like in a sexual way, whether it's for status or for his own reasons. um and then it kind of almost like could come off as a pity thing, I feel like, for
Mm.
some girls who are more easily manipulated or
Yeah.
insecure, to where it's like, well, I think he'll leave me if I don't, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly, that's where it comes to like the pressure on the woman to give the man what they want.
Yeah, exactly. I find that just,
But
no.
also how like when you're, let's say, between like 13 and 17
Hmm.
and you're in a relationship, I feel like if you haven't fucked within the first like 2 3 months, people look at you super weird.
Yeah, they assume,
They assume
yeah.
stuff, and it's just like, if you say no, they're like, what, why? And it's just like, there's different reasons, obviously, man.
Yeah, yeah, that goes all back to like the whole pressure to lose your virginity as a whole, right? Like, uh, e- e- even like with body count, I thought about this because we were talking um so much about like virginity itself, but like it's interesting how like people talk about like body count as if like there's like a definitive like good number or bad
Yeah.
number.
Oh, damn, you're
So
smart.
like in reality, like it's really just
A preference too, right?
having your body count high or low is more telling. Like that's just based off of like, like what kind of personality you have within relationships. Are you the type of person that goes in a lot of shorter relationships until they find, like good ones, or are you the type of person who goes into long relationships, gets out, goes into long
Mm.
relationships, gets out, like that stuff, like that, like.
Or like the people that just don't get into relationships
Yeah,
and just hook up
exactly.
too.
Yeah, exactly. Or nothing at all or whatever. uh, that's a thing, like people don't even consider asexuals, right? Like that's
Yeah,
crazy
that's
too.
facts. And the
um
worst part is that like a lot of people assume that asexuals don't have sex, and some of them do.
yeah,
So
yeah, that's why the term ace is nice because it encompasses a lot more.
yeah,
um yeah, what was I getting at that, fuck?
hookup culture maybe, because that would make sense.
um
Because
well,
of,
yeah, because the body count, I feel like it perpetuates like people to want to get into hookup culture a lot
but
more than they
that's a
want to.
lot. It's really part of our generation, hookup culture. Like it's
Yeah, that
super
is
like
very
normal.
generational. Yeah, no, I remember I had a little hoe phase myself, but I don't really enjoy that phase of my life. I'm not like really a hoe deep down at heart. Like I don't like jumping between people. Like
Yeah.
I had like a new thing like every month or whatever, and it would, like to me, like that's just more losing than winning.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Depends how sensitive you are too.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
hookup
I'm a very
culture,
sensitive person.
I feel
So I
like,
get attached even if I
mm,
know like this isn't going to be a good relationship and I have to break up. Like I still very much like will get attached or
that's
hyperfixated to
true.
this person for a bit at least. Cuz that's always been my personal problem in like a lot of relationships that didn't work, is like I confused hyperfixation or hyperfocus to
Mm.
like actual love or like
Oh
caring or
yeah.
whatever, like.
Attachment too.
Yeah, exactly. So it became more of like an unhealthy attachment rather than a healthy one.
Mm.
But I'm a lot more aware of that now, so looking back, like it's just obvious. Yeah.
That's true. And like about hookup culture, how we were saying about like it's usually like at bars, clubs, when people are
Mm.
drunk at a party or stuff like that. Like that's when hookup culture is normal. You're not gonna go to a party with all people that are high on whatever. and you're gonna
On weed.
on
Well,
weed
other
mostly,
things.
other things, but mostly weed, and they're gonna be hooking up. That's like another. But drunk, it's like people get aggressive, people get horny. It's
Yeah.
just like the tension is so strong,
Yeah.
and I feel like sex always comes with a bit of aggression behind it, especially if there's
Yeah.
men and it's just like hookup. Like intimate
Well,
stuff
yeah.
is different, obviously.
Yeah.
So I feel like when you're drunk, it's like 10 times more elevated, right?
Yeah, 100%. Your inhibitions just aren't there. I mean, like you just that's the thing. Like when you're that drunk, like you just don't you just, like don't you don't really know these people, and you just kind of say fuck it.
Yeah, facts, but I feel like a lot of people regret that after. Some people
Yeah,
don't,
I've
obviously,
regretted a lot of them
but I feel like it's just
to an
like
extent. Yeah.
I was gonna say about hookup culture, I like a lot of the time, not a lot of the time, but for some women, it's their way of kind of escaping their own darkness in their head and their own
Yeah, that
traumas.
could be for anyone.
Yeah, exactly. For even guys, like, or like after like a rape or something, some like just go on their
That
whole face to
yeah,
like, I don't know.
yeah, that's the basis of most hypersexuality
Yeah.
is typically that. I don't know if we're really allowed to say that word on Twitch, but
Which
well, that's
one?
okay. The R word.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Get the hell out.
I don't know. That's the
I'm
thing.
gonna
I'm
assume
just gonna
yes because we're saying porn and we haven't been kicked out yet.
well, we're also like there's no moderators on us right now. Like we're a small stream, but
Yeah,
still.
it's fine.
But this for the VOD is what I'm saying. What was I gonna say? Um, fuck.
Because there's two R words,
Oh no,
know?
RA word.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Okay. um.
What about sexual harassment? Does that work?
Oh yeah, because we were
Yeah.
talking. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was talking about. So a lot of a lot of people like they just be like you gain a lot of hypersexuality after being harassed in that way, like especially like if you're young and that happens, like if you're a
Mm.
teenager, God forbid.
Or a child, too.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I say God forbid. I don't believe in God, but still forbid it, bitch.
Yeah. Also, the whole thing behind sexual harassment about how, like, the whole concept of guys being like, but it's not all men. And it's like, I think people are aware that it's not all men. And I feel like
100%.
I feel like the men that do not do that are not offended when people say all men.
No, 100%.
Yeah, because like for example, when you're a kid, your parents aren't like some strangers are dangerous. They're like all strangers are dangerous and watch
That's
out.
a really good
I
analogy
know.
for
Thank
that.
you. Oh my
That's a
god.
really good analogy.
It's not like
Yeah.
some strangers be careful. No, no, no. You need to be like be careful. All men might be dangerous, but some are might be super chill.
Yeah, exactly. Like like it like our brains feed a lot. Like our brains really absorb things when they're kind of more a
Mhm.
narrative.
Yeah.
So that's why like a lot of our deepest introspection could be done while like listening to music or watching a movie or reading a book or
Being in
something.
a shower.
Yeah, exactly. Um it's because it allows you to like form this narrative with something in your life that you relate to this thing to. So
Mm.
like earlier in the shower, like I was listening to I forget which song. I think it was a Clairo song, and I was just
Oh,
thinking
I love Claire.
of like how I interact with someone based off that song. And that was and like that's just how our brains work. It really like helps you internalize things. So what was I gonna say with that? Fuck. I literally
We're talking
explained this
about
whole
sexual
thing.
harassment.
Oh
And
yeah,
yeah,
because we were talking about
the all men
strangers.
concept.
We were
Yeah.
talking about strangers. You need to like emphasize this stuff a lot for kids. Exaggeration is a narrative construct because it is
Facts.
it helps you push that narrative in that mind. If you like if you say all men, like obviously it's not all men. You
Yeah.
probably have a decent dad or whatever. Most
Yeah.
people. I'm gonna say just whatever. Like you probably know someone like a decent male in your life. That doesn't mean that like he should be killed too. It's
Yeah.
just saying kill the
Also,
ones that are shitheads.
how the percentage of women that have been sexually harassed is so high. Like it's 97% that have had some type of sexual
Some
harassment.
type, yeah.
Bro, that is ridiculous. That is like a concerning fucking number.
Mm-hmm. I'm
Like
not sure if that's all women or all like
no, it's
female presenting.
oh shit.
I'm not sure, but I know it's a fucking high
Okay.
number regardless, and it's probably still around the same number for
Yeah,
trans.
it's for trans. Actually, I'm gonna Google this, guys.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's even like 98 and
I
like
know.
higher.
Uh,
Yeah, and
cause I know that's.
that
Go ahead.
for whoever like maybe watching this and be like, "Oh, that sounds like way too high of a percentage." This is like any kind of sexual harassment we're talking about. We're talking
Yeah.
about like some rando like ass grabbing you in a club or
Yeah, grabbing
something
your
too,
tits.
like shit like that. Like
It's sixty
even
six
as someone
percent.
who's male presenting, I've had that happen to me, right? Like
66% for trans women,
yeah.
which is pretty fucking high.
Either way, it should never be
It should
a,
never
a
be a percentage. It
yeah,
should be zero.
it should be
It
zero.
should be
In an
zero.
idealistic world, in a realistic world, I think it should be below 5%.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
if we're actually
Okay, but
having like a good like society in the sense that like
there's
prisons are
some
remade into
predators out there.
something
Yeah.
that actually rehabilitates people into society.
Facts. But like the other days, I forgot with who I was talking to, but we're talking about how like sexual harassment. Can I just say the R word? Can I say the R word?
Yeah, I mean just say
Okay.
say uh yeah, fuck it.
Fuck it. Okay, so rape, like how in the animal kingdom, rape is super normal
Mm-hmm.
in so many species. And so like for example, like oh yeah, it was Kira that was telling me this. The male spider would like wrap a fruit in the web so that the female would try to take it out, and while she was like breaking the web to get to the fruit, the male would come rape the girl. And this happens in so many animal kingdoms, and it just shows you how like this it's like not even only in humans, it's like the male and like just nature and normal is like
Yeah, obviously
has that.
evolutionarily it
Yeah.
had its reason, but that's the thing.
Evolutionized,
Yeah,
developed.
developed our way up to there that we don't
Yeah.
need that shit anymore. And obviously,
We have
some guys
brains.
thinks it's the opposite way
Yeah.
around, where
The
we
worst
still
part?
need it.
No, the worst part is the guys are like, I didn't do anything wrong. Like, what are you talking about? Or they use the excuse of like she was drunk and because she didn't say no, it's fine or stuff like that. Or
Yeah,
like
those are just that's
nah, bruh. Or like people that like they don't like some women are like have the pressure of like not saying no, but like they're kind of pushing off, right?
mm-hmm.
And the guy keeps going. So like, do you not know how to read signals that are
They
pretty
don't. That's the
obvious?
point. That's the
They
point.
should have class about this, man.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. That's a
They have it now, actually.
huge.
My
Well,
brother has
yeah.
it.
Well, like it's just like avoidance is just like such a huge problem when it
Mm.
comes to a lot of guys. I find like they just have learned to avoid their emotions their entire life to the point where it's um it's just like stupid how much like they never learn how to do anything when it comes to any kind of relationship. And yeah, I feel like that's a huge part of how like people just get midlife crises and shit like that.
Facts. Can we talk about how what is it? Validation from gender normative stereotypes.
Oh
The
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. How the term "my dick is enough" so that cis white men don't want to, not white, but cis men don't want to use toys, and they feel threatened by vibrators and dildos and stuff like that, and they're
Yeah.
like, yeah, bro, why isn't my dick enough? And they get so offended.
Yeah,
And it's
that's
like,
very much based off
oh
insecurity.
yeah, it's like they don't realize how like women don't usually don't come like
Yeah.
inside the vagina. It's usually on a clit.
Yeah, and that's just
And
I
it's just
mean,
like, you can't just grab your dick and like shake it on the clit or something. Like you
yeah,
can, but it's probably not gonna come. So
yeah, exactly. Like yeah, it's just I find like that just stems so much from like the insecurity of like her like ever having a better orgasm on her
oh,
own
but they
versus
do
with him.
actually. I
But that's
saw a
the thing.
percentage not
You're
long
just
ago.
depraving her. Period. Like,
Her pleasure. You can have pleasure, but not her. It's like, about like we have a topic where the guy comes and it's done, right? So
yeah,
it's like, why do you get so offended by that, bro?
yeah. Like, bro, return the favor, please. Guys talk about returning the favor so much, but they never do.
That's so sad.
That is so weird. Yeah, we already talked about in this
But
topic, like, because we're just talking about like validation, uh, that people feel like they deserve, from like a perspective of like gender normative, like kind of stereotypes. So that is one of them. Like the whole my dick is not big enough, and like the refusal to allow like toys or whatever. Um,
facts.
the alpha beta sigma I feel like is a huge part of that because there's so many incels that are out there and they just feel like they could never be enough as a man
Mm.
who isn't the alpha or the sigma or whatever, and it like if they're a beta they're just screwed in life, there's nothing they could do about it. Like what the fuck, like bro, come on. Like that's the thing, like some some girls like their bottom boys, even if they're
Yeah,
straight girls they might like
that's
their
true.
bottom boys. That's the thing, like it doesn't matter. This is why it's like all from like gender normative shit
Yeah.
rather than like an exclusively like male or female or whatever binary non-binary kind of way,
Facts.
because like it's just it's just all based off of like basic stereotypical media portrayal of like a male in the relationship
Mm-hmm.
and a female in the relationship.
And you know how like the quote "my dick is enough" and stuff like that. How like they go to like like some guy meets some girl and the girl's like, I'm actually a lesbian. And some guys will be
Mm.
like, you just haven't met the right dick or the right guy.
That's fucking
And I'm just like,
that's the
what?
stupidest shit ever, bro.
Like, bro, get the fuck. And or they're like, yeah, but why do like women, if they have a fake dick on, it has nothing to do with the strap on or the dildo or whatever the girl's using. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Like I find like it's funny because I remember seeing even like it was some comedy sketch or something,
mm-hmm.
and like it was like in like a sex shop, and there's a girl, she was like she was trying to like buy like a vibrator,
Mm-hmm.
and like there was one uh that like looked like a dick, and like some guy in the shop, and there was one that was just straight up,
Mm-hmm.
like some guy in the shop was like, why would any girl buy the just like straight one, like why don't you use the dick, and then like
Ew. Okay.
um I don't know what this is. I'm really butchering this because it was like really weird. I feel like no, it was the shop owner, like, or like the cashier or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm stupid, so I can't remember this. This is years ago I watched this. Um, and yeah, it was the cashier, and he keeps on trying to like sell her, like
The
the one
dick.
that actually looks like a dick,
Oh.
and then she's like, no, no, I'll take this one. He's like, yeah, but like, how are you gonna come if you can't even think about what you're trying to do? And she's like, no, I
Oh
can.
my
And
god.
then like, and
Mm.
he keeps trying, and then she's like, no, I'm just gonna get this one. And And
Ew,
then
why
she
do they
gets
get so
that one,
offended?
and then the next day they like she comes back with her girlfriend and they buy another vibrator
Oh,
that's like that.
period. I love that.
I don't remember what that was, and I definitely like completely missed the joke and only remembered the fact that they were
Disgusting about that.
yeah. Um but yeah, one thing that we have to get into when it comes to the whole gender normative validation thing. This is the worst fucking stupidest myth ever. Blue balls.
Oh,
It does
facts.
not exist. It is, but it's funny because I feel like many guys do believe it exists. And the reason I think it's that way is because they're literally like gaslighting themselves in a sense. Or
They're
like media
gaslighting
is
themselves.
because like people talk about blue balls so much in like old movies and stuff.
Yeah, all I
And
think about is les Schtroumpfs. What is that?
s-
Smurfs.
Smurfs.
There you go. I just think of the Smurfs.
No, but like whatever in like party movies and stuff, they always talk about blue balls and stuff, and like I've had legitimate fights with guys talking about like you're just lying, it doesn't exist. But
Yeah.
like I have them too. I know. I know they don't exist. What you're talking about is called being horny. You know what you do when you're horny? It doesn't just make you cramp up and get swollen. You know what happens? You feel a little bit horny, and you feel a little, and then you either do something about it or you don't. If you do something, cool.
With
If
consent or by
yeah,
yourself.
exactly. If you don't, then it'll
Cry
go
and deal with it,
away.
man.
It'll go away.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait 2 minutes. Like what the fuck? Think about watch a fucking TV
Watch.
show. Shut the
Think of
fuck
your
up.
dad. I swear, some people probably do that when they're hard or something, or they're horny and they don't want to be. They'll think of their parent. Boom,
But that's the
gone.
thing. Like the whole random boner thing, that's only a teenage thing.
Mm,
That goes away like when you're 16 or
yeah.
17 or whatever. It depends on your hormones obviously, but at least for most guys, like that goes away. It's not like you're getting a hard on in the middle of like your college like presentation.
Oh,
It
okay.
happens during your high school one, right?
Mm.
Like um so like even if you're talking about like the hard on not getting weight, that doesn't, like if you stop thinking about it, like you have more control when you're older, and if you don't have more control, that's early onset. Like that's legitimately like you probably have dick problems, go to the doctor and get pills
Mm.
for it before you're gonna start needing Viagra. Like legitimately though.
Oh shit.
That's actually a thing. So it does not exist is my point in saying all that. And if you feel like it does, go see a doctor.
What type of doctor?
I have
Like a
no idea.
psychologist?
No, go no. Like I mean, yeah, a psychologist probably, but also your family doctor to get recommended whatever the male equivalent to the gynecologist
Oh,
is.
what's that?
I have no idea. It's not very common.
Prostate. I forgot what it is. The thing they put up your ass
That's
for guys. For guys,
that's
no.
but that's your normal.
Prostate.
I think that's your normal doctor that does that.
Yeah, exactly.
Or it's a gastroenterologist,
Or
but that's more
don't
because
they
it's
put like
your
a stick up your ass?
Yeah, they put a camera up
Exactly.
your ass. Good OnlyFans content, huh?
A camera. He's trying to look what color it is, you know? Just ask me to shit or something. I don't know. Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah, one thing that's actually tied to that's on this doc is the whole argument of using a condom or not,
Mm.
especially like on your first time with someone. Like, I'm sorry, you should never expect it in my mind.
About what?
When it's your first time with someone, you should never expect
Oh.
not to wear it.
Yeah.
You should always,
You should always have one, but I don't. People don't
yeah.
want STDs.
And if you're in a relationship with someone and there's birth control in the mix and
It might be
whatever,
different too.
it, but at the same time, it's very important to get like STI tests in that case, regardless, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Or guys are like, yeah, no, like I don't want to put a condom on because I want to feel it better.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. But if you legitimately like care about being intimate with this person, you should not care if you're at 80% or whatever 100% pleasure, because you know what? It's your like just
safety, man.
yeah, exactly. Like what the fuck do you want to like
You want AIDS?
yeah, exactly. Do you want to like die from a random cold when you're like 50? Like no. Or like 40 or whatever. Like that's you
Facts.
don't that's it's
Period.
you could get some crazy shit, even shit that's more
Crabs.
common. Yeah, crabs happens even with a condom.
Mm.
That's something you have to STI test for.
Yeah.
Because that's from your pubes.
Oh yeah, that I know.
It's literally pube lice, but it's worse than normal lice. I saw a
Man.
video. Oh, this is a random
No, bro,
tangent.
why'd you watch a video?
It
No.
was a TikTok video,
Oh,
and
TikTok.
the guy was talking about how he used to have crabs. Oh, you're right. You're right.
Oh,
You're
you be
right.
smart, bro.
You are right.
Gynecology. There you go. I knew it. I was pretty close, no?
Um,
No, I was saying
no,
prostate. Nothing to do with it.
urologist or
Oh,
whatever, however you
urologist.
pronounce that. Yeah, no. The TikTok I watched is someone talking about like the comb they used for their
Oh
crabs,
no.
and they were like, "At least I got this free comb," and they used it in their hair. So
No.
now you got crabs in your hair. It's just worse lice. Like it's just worse lice.
No, that's disgusting. Also, can we talk about? I just thought about that because we were talking about pubic hair. How women are expected to be clean, like
Oh
a baby, which is kind
yeah,
of weird. Um, but men aren't like are not
yeah,
obligated. But like when a woman
yeah.
has a bit of pubic hair, it's like gross.
Yeah,
It's like
I find
chill
that
the fuck
I
out.
find that stupid. Like
Or even just body hair in general.
generally, I find it
Yeah,
stupid generally, even though like you can just have your preference, right? Like,
yeah,
but that's a thing. Our point in saying that is like, don't force your preference across society. Like that's so
yeah.
stupid.
Don't make
That's
other
just a
people.
general thing.
Yeah, don't make other people feel like shit about their own
Obligated.
bodies,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You
It's
don't wanna
like
hook up with them, leave, bro.
yeah, I find that crazy, and I've even seen like I mean, this is more on like crazy shit like you Reddit r/Tinder, which is all just like people making fun of other people. Um, but like some people were like, "Don't swipe right if you're not shaven or whatever. If you're shaven or whatever." Like,
Ew.
that's so disgusting. Like
Ew.
just to have on your
Do men just
profile.
expect to like fuck like I don't know. Like do men not expect women to have pubic hair? Like if I don't know. She's not a child, man. If she is there's
You're
issues.
in
there's
jail. Yeah,
there's
you're in
problems.
jail.
You're in jail. Hopefully you go to jail.
Yeah, exactly.
The person gets justice done.
Yeah. So yeah, uh, my our point in saying all that, even back to just like condoms as a whole, um, like bro, just be happy like you're in bed with the person at that point. You know, take the condom.
Yeah, but I feel like
You know, ask about it later if you're really inclined. But it's something you have to be on a mutual agreement
facts.
towards in a lot of ways, and in the sense of like testing or whatever. Like it's not a very safe thing to just like expect they
Facts.
have nothing just because they've been with only clean people. Like
Yeah, but I
you
feel
never
like
know.
in hookup culture, it's like you don't really give a shit about the other person. It's more like I just want
That's
to
true.
come and period. Doesn't matter.
Mhm.
So it's like
Mhm.
you don't always have that minimal respect, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Like that goes back to the whole like inhibition thing of like how hookup culture is like tied to alcohol and everything
Mm. This is
because
why I don't like alcohol. Period. Sorry, I'm a stoner, guys. No.
um Yeah, no, like it just it's I don't know why it's just such a common thing for like clubs and shit. Like
Parties.
because like people go to clubs and shit to hook up. Like
Yeah, that's true, huh? Oh.
it's just like it's just a creepy dynamic in my mind. At least with the context we have in today's day, that like, you know, the actual like definition of sexual harassment is more actually being respected.
Yeah.
Because people were like, "Oh, but like she said yes even though she was drunk." Like, no, she didn't say
No.
yes. The alcohol said yes.
Yeah. Facts. Uh yeah, about the like next point I was gonna say how a lot of the time like when women, usually lesbians or like just bi women or like any girl on girl action
Hmm.
is very over sexualized.
Yeah, by
And
the
like
media as a
let's
whole.
say like women are making out at a club and people are gonna guys are gonna be like hyping them, they're gonna be screaming and cheering, and it's like, but if it's two guys doing it, people are gonna be grossed out, or if it's trans
Yeah,
people, they're gonna be
they're
grossed out.
like
It's just like what.
if your average like frat guy at a party saw just a couple guys making out, he would try to like walk away from them.
Yeah, but if it's
Like,
two girls, he's gonna like try to join in.
yeah, that's so
That's
weird.
where the threesomes and stuff come in.
Yeah, because it's very weird. I feel like it yeah, it definitely comes from just a weird male fantasy of just having like
Two
two,
women.
yeah, multiple women. And it's weird how detached that is from actual like polyamory in my mind,
Mm.
because I feel like that's a lot more so like a fantasy than like an actual lifestyle for the kind of people they are.
Yeah, that's true.
Because yeah, it's a lot more complicated of a thing to be in a
In
polyamorous
music
relationship.
culture. Yeah.
In music culture, what do you mean?
Yeah, I think it's
Um, in music culture too. I'm trying to think what you meant by that.
yeah.
Sorry.
Please add another word. You get it.
Explain.
Not explain. Abbreviate? No, what's abbreviate? I don't know, man. I got three languages in my head. Okay, I gotta work on that shit.
uh
Like music culture. Oh, like in music videos where like
oh,
it's
you're right.
two girls.
That's true. That does
Like
perpetuate
there's
it.
this new
It's all
song
media,
that
yeah.
just came out about Sabrina. It's Sabrina Carpenter, and it's like when rappers. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, there's
exactly.
so
That's what
many
I mean.
rappers that are just talking about like
Yeah.
girl on girl action. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um that's true. That's very much that's definitely like just something that's been perpetuated in media as a whole, cuz
Mm.
like I mean like in comedy at least, like the whole like stereotype for like the big like out there rich man is that he always has two girls by his
Oh yeah,
side,
yeah.
right? So it's definitely something that just has perpetuated as this male fantasy throughout media a lot,
Mhm.
whereas polyamory like um as an actual like consenting like
Yeah, people
kind of
assume that in polyamory you can't cheat, but you can cheat
yeah
if you don't respect your partner's boundaries.
yeah it's more something that just has been a part of human culture for a while
Yeah.
in a very different way than that male fantasy has been, because that male fantasy is more about power than anything in my mind,
Mm.
than an actual relationship. Like relationships are not about power.
That if it is, get
Leave.
out of, yeah, run.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
So yeah, so we're a good way to think about that too, where we were talking about how like it's so encouraged it, like from a like sexual standpoint in media, like even in porn, like uh when you have like two girls one guy in porn, like they're gonna
Two
be
girls, one
making
cup.
out, they're gonna be, like they're gonna be doing things themselves. And
Mm.
when it's a threesome and it's two guys and one girl, they're just taking the opposite ends, going as far
Yeah,
from each other as possible.
that's true. But it's like I don't understand why when they do threesomes, it should mostly be bisexual people,
Yeah,
and
because
they only
those
take
those are the
straight
most
people.
those are, I mean, it's legitimately just more typical for a threesome to be with bisexual people. That's just
Yeah,
kind of how it works, or whatever, pansexual, any kind of more queer sexuality that's
yeah,
non like
extreme, I guess.
monosexual,
Yeah, yeah,
monosexual. Um, but yeah, pretty much every variant of polysexual, I think that
yeah.
means. Um, but yeah.
The next one about like
Oh,
how two
yeah, this is a
girls
good one.
like you'll go to a party and two girls will be making out even if they're straight. People don't really say much about it, but or like over sexualize it, but when it's two guys, oh yeah, we kind of already talked about that. But even if they're straight, it's like no homo, bro, like keep your socks on type of shit.
Yeah, I find it's a very weird double standard, and I feel like that's just because like typically women as a whole are just less bogged down like on a personal
Yeah,
basis by their sexuality, as in like they still may perpetuate and follow certain,
stereotype, I guess.
stereotypes or
Yeah.
whatever behaviors, but like they still have that innate confidence as a person more so that's less reliant
Mm.
on it. Like guys lean on it, whereas a lot of girls you like use it as a stepping stone to become themselves.
Oh, okay.
Um and like because of that, like they just tend to be more experimental, right? Like people
Mm.
always talk about like the girls in college experimenting bi curious or whatever,
Mhm.
but that's just because they're more adamant to know about themselves in a sense. And I feel like girls as a whole can realize that sexuality isn't like
Yeah.
100% one thing or not.
But also women are a lot more like not cuddly but like
Affectionate.
affectionate. There you go.
That's one thing we didn't write down, but I'd like to get into this actually for a bit, because that's one thing that like really as a child made me feel like disconnected, like as a man or whatever. um like, and made me eventually realize that like I'm non-binary, because like uh it's just like a general like it's so weird how like how many guys want like affection in their lives
Yeah.
in a sense, and they're very much depraved of it as a whole, right? but
Mm.
um but they refuse to accept it from their own friends, and it's like
That's true.
girlfriend or nothing, or like hook up or nothing, like.
Yeah.
And in my mind, like that clashed just a lot. And then I was like, nah,
Mm.
like like I mean, I don't I don't need it from like every friend, like if you're not comfortable with hugging all the time, I'm not gonna hug you all the time. But like I'm still a very
Facts.
affectionate person, and I'll be that way towards the friends I want to be that way with, and we're comfortable with that. Like it, but like I had a lot of people like shit on me growing up because of that, and they were like, "Whoa, well, that's like weird or whatever. Like, are you bi or something or whatever?" And like
That's
in
mm.
in a sense, like I don't even know what I am, but like you kind of just
It
gotta be
fluctuates.
open to that to really
Yeah.
understand in the first place.
Oh. Yeah. That makes sense. Talking about like non-binary, like just sex in general as someone that's trans or non-binary is a lot harder because our just window of people that are interested in us is only usually bi and pansexual people.
That's true.
Because people that are
I've
straight,
never dated a straight girl.
yeah,
And
like,
I wasn't even out.
oh, that's funny. But it's like, it also, like, hookup culture is not super easy for bi and pan people because, bi and non-binary and trans people because, like, hookup culture is usually very not emotional and it's just to get your horniness out. So you're not really talking much about the intimacy and the boundaries with the other person and etc. So you
Yeah.
can't just hookup culture, like, you're just going at it, right? But if you're trans and non-binary and don't disclose that, let's just say you're someone that's born
Yeah, that's
female
seen as
and,
something that's really
yeah,
disrespectful.
like someone that's born female and, like, is non-binary but has top surgery and has a vagina, like, and you don't disclose that, like, that can put you in a lot of danger.
Hmm.
And obviously depending who, but you can get rejected, you can actually get abused.
Yeah, tied to that, I mean,
Yeah,
something that perpetuates it is, like we said, alcohol with the whole
yeah,
hookup culture.
bars and clubs and stuff.
Because we understand how aggressive some people can get with the mix of testosterone and alcohol,
Oh yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
even a lot of estrogen in alcohol, honestly, in some cases. But
Yeah.
either way, like, just being a very, like, that's a weird joke, but like, either way, like, some people just are very aggressive with alcohol in general. Anyone
Mhm.
can be, um and it's just, it just like it just, like we said before, it lowers your inhibition, so you're just, you do a lot of fucking stupid shit, whether, like, it's your fault or not. You might blame another person, like,
Mhm.
you might not have been, like, comfortable with this if you were sober, or like, you're just insecure about it or whatever. Like, there's so many
Yeah.
factors that could come into play when you have alcohol in the mix,
That's true.
that it just makes it so much more dangerous for us as a whole. I mean, less so for someone that's me, that still kind of presents, like, presents
Male kind of.
presents with the sex I am.
Yeah.
But, like, it's still something that can be, like, considered uncomfortable to someone. Feel like, in the same way, and it's
Yeah.
still something, like, you can have anxiety towards.
Yeah, especially when it comes to, like, the entire gender dysphoria.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it can be really hard to,
Because
do
some people
anything,
just,
right?
like, are like, what the fuck, that doesn't exist, you know.
No, but it's actually
That,
really
I mean,
bad.
those are transphobes, so, I mean, we don't want them in our lives in the first
Get
place.
the fuck
But
out, bro.
still, like, it's still, like it's still something that bogs you down when you suffer from something like dysphoria.
Yeah. Cuz it's almost like, I feel like insecurities of your body, it's something you can change, but as many, like, for some people, like, as many surgeries and hormones you take, it'll never be like the real thing, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
So it can, like, really haunt you like your
Yeah.
entire life, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, but also, like, the thing is, like, usually when you're trans or non-binary and, like, if it's just hookup culture, they could say something that really triggers you. Like, let's
Mm-hmm.
just say you're someone that's non-binary but with a
Um.
vagina and the person says, like, come inside me. Like, there's a show on Netflix where, like, the girlfriend said that to the other girl that's non-binary and it really triggered that person because, like,
Yeah.
they were like, but I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you say that? And that, like, that really loops
Yeah.
in your head and it loops in your head and it makes you feel like you're never gonna be enough.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it makes it almost impossible to be okay with hookup culture as a trans and non-binary.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, 100%. That plays into it a lot. Um, this is kind of bouncing back a topic, I think, if
mhm.
you are good with what you said there. Um, because I wanted to, let me just check this again. So this goes back to what we were talking about, like, over sexualizing, like, queer folk of the female sex. um and uh this kind of plays into a little bit of what we were talking about with incels too. uh I wouldn't say incels fully, but like some incels are part of this group that want this. And also it's more just prevalent in gamer culture as a whole. I
Mhm.
find like it's kind of weird in my mind how much people idealize the big titty goth GF who's a gamer.
True.
And it's always the bi titty get that there's just too much words for me to fit into one sentence. I'm sorry, but they're bi as well, obviously. I find that like very like it's very, I don't know if it's weird or interesting that there's a lot of straight gamer dudes that are really into that.
That's true.
But I, like yeah, I don't know that, I don't know what like fully to say about that, because like
It's kind of like you know how guys always are like, do you choose ass or tits? Like about the preference thing again.
that's like the big titty part is mostly a joke. I feel like it's just like like because goth girls are very sexualized, and because of the fact that like she like is
Yeah.
bi or whatever, because like um I don't know, it's just something, it kind of like went the other way in a kind of way, because gamers are like as a whole more accepting of gender and shit.
True.
Like like you're gonna get shit on if you like say anti-trans shit on Twitch, even though
Mm.
Twitch is a huge gamer culture. Um, but like but at the same time, like it became the point where like it just became very like sexualized for them to have like a bi girlfriend that
It's
can
true.
be attracted to them, but still like can be a little dominant or whatever, but they're still like not ready to take the plunge, I guess, with trans people. I
Oh,
don't know, I mean, I'm sure some of them like legitimately are questioning their sexuality in a sense when they get into a
that's
relationship
true.
with this person, but I feel like some of them are just straight up straight, and like um and just kind of like sexualize the whole like their dominance now.
Oh yeah, dominatrix too.
Yeah,
Can we
exactly.
talk about?
It's
Oh,
tied into
okay. Yeah,
dominatrix.
we're
That's what
gonna
I
talk
mean.
about kinks and shit, but like dominatrix go in that and they can make an actual career out of it, which is insane.
Yeah. So I mean that plays a lot into the whole, why I said it was like plays into incels is because these guys feel like they're betas, but no, it's just you're a little more of a submissive person. It
Mm,
doesn't fucking matter.
yeah.
But no, like that's not to like bash on it as a whole, like the obsession I should say, but like um it, it's just like it's a weird thing because like some people like, you know, really like the people or just have the preference for an actual normal reason, and then there's some people who are just like over sexualizing shit.
Facts. That's facts.
Yeah. um
About like the kink thing I was gonna get into.
oh yeah, yeah.
How like a lot of people realize that kinks come from a lot of childhood trauma and mental illnesses, right?
Mhm.
Like it can be anything like the the kink called like consent non-consent, so
Mhm.
CNS,
CNC.
CNC. Thank you. Uh how a lot of them are actual like rape victims, and it develops into
As a trauma
as a trauma
response.
response. And it's crazy because I remember therapists talking about this, how your trauma response, your neurons in your head put aggression with sexual, and
Mhm.
they made that link. So whenever there's aggression towards you, like you get horny. you
I
know?
wouldn't say whenever, but
Yeah, whenever
it's
part of it,
something,
right?
yeah, exactly. It's something that could easily lead to horniness,
Mm-hmm.
is what you're saying, which is true because that plays into
Yeah, facts.
um it plays into like even hate sex. Like
Oh,
why
when
do
you're getting
people
into an
love hate sex
argument.
so much?
Yeah, that's facts.
Or like the last time you have sex before you break up and you know you're gonna break up and you know it's gonna be
Oh.
bad. That happened to me. That's why I'm so
Yo. But about the anxiety thing, yeah, like anxiety, aggression, sadness can all lead to um like being aroused by it. Like for
Yeah.
example, like for me, like whenever I was sad, I would like just put like sex to it. So it was like to distract myself.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously it's different from like rape victims
Yeah.
and
It's
anxiety and shit
yeah,
like
per
that.
per trauma basis.
Yeah, exactly. But it also comes, most people that are mentally ill are kinky.
Yeah.
And it's just a fact. It's just, and queer people too. I feel like queer people are a lot more
Yeah.
kinky than
We're
cis
also a lot
people.
more mentally ill
Oh yeah, yeah.
typically.
I think the percentage is pretty fucking high
It's
about that.
it's a jumbled mess when you look at all those stats and how they influence each other,
Yeah.
but
I mean, trans people and non-binary people are like in the queer spectrum
yeah.
the highest at risk for like suicide and
Yeah,
mental illness and
exactly.
stuff like that.
So, yeah, it's definitely like um it's definitely a weird thing with kinks when it comes to that. Also, we have this point here about the fact that like because like stuff like TikTok I find like um really like yes, being open about kinks is like a very good thing. We're trying to do that more as a society.
That's Marco.
I'm Marco. Hi.
Mhm.
uh, what was I
Mhm.
saying? Yeah, like places like TikTok, they're like ideal. Like they're like showing like kinks off and like trying to turning it into like a trend almost with how many things are. It's just more so like we said before about how the algorithm of TikTok is crazy. So like
Yeah,
people like um people who aren't necessarily kinky like will just be exposed to it just because they're somewhat sexual
that's true.
and they get sexual TikToks on their stuff and like and because of that it's almost like there's uh because of that kind of uh that like you're just kind of like encouraged to just like I keep on stumbling on my words fuck.
I was trying not to laugh.
That's okay, you can laugh at me all you want.
Uh, no, you forgot.
Yep. I did. um
About what were you talking about?
how like
Okay.
it's so encouraged now because of social media and stuff that like to like be kinky like oh a girl isn't really gonna like you unless you're kinky enough,
Yeah.
you know, like
Unless you choke the shit
yeah
out of her.
like if she's not liking the sex it's because you're not choking her hard enough. Like that's not always the case.
But also the thing about kinks is that they can be super fucking dangerous, and when it comes to like hookup culture, which we were talking about before, the normal kink is choking. But the issue is
And hair pulling, yeah.
and hair pulling, but most people don't know how to choke properly and
Mm-hmm.
think that
Yeah,
here is
yeah.
the right, bro, you're gonna break their vocal cords. It's not taking the air out, it's blocking the blood flow to the brain. That is choking.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's
people
yeah.
don't get that in hookup culture a lot of the time, which is why hookup culture is a lot more
Yeah.
vanilla.
um but even if my point in saying that is that there's a lot of like very vanilla people who are kind of like pressured into this and
Yeah, yeah, that, but like kinky shit, like I was saying, because it's dangerous, it comes a lot to trusting the person. And when it comes to knife play, you need to fucking know your shit, because you cut the wrong, if you're
you
actually
need
cutting.
more, you need more than just that. You need 911 on speed dial
Now,
like
bro,
right next
also
to you.
wax burning people, that's less than knives, but it can really damage a person's skin.
Yeah, if you get an
So
actual like
it's kinkiness is
multi-degree
lit,
burn,
but
yeah.
fucking be careful out there, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Cause also let's just say you just hookup culture. You meet some random person at the bar, and they just you most likely you're drunk. Like we are talking before, the
Mhm.
entire hookup culture comes to drunkenness and shit. And the person pulls out a fucking knife, and they're like, yeah, it's because I'm kinky. Like I like knife play. They could like murder you on this. I don't fucking know, but they
Yeah.
could really like hurt you.
Yeah, no. Um yeah, my my point in saying that, cuz we keep on going on little tangents, is like is like I feel like there's a lot of pressure for people who just aren't inherently kinky to become kinky, even though it's more of a thing like with some
Trauma.
kinks, like it with trauma in general. But I'd like to say like with some kinks, like you could just like try it if it's something more tame, I'd say, like, and
Mm.
just do it once and see how you feel. But like if you like, I feel like there's a lot of people who probably perpetuate it in their mind that like you have to like I said before, you have to be kinky to make your partner come or whatever. It's not always the
Mm.
case. Like you do what you as a collective are comfortable with, and if either of you are uncomfortable, it's gonna be a worse experience.
Facts. Good
Exactly.
point, Marco. I feel like no, I forgot.
Yeah. Did you want to get to the next point then?
Yeah, sure, orgasms?
Yeah.
Oh my god, yes, please. So
Yes,
we
please.
actually, I guess we can put the link later once the thing is posted. But can we just talk about how man cannot find the clitoris? Can we talk about that?
I find it such a funny thing because it's like, bro, just ask.
Yeah, no, just ask, or also don't. Also, you know how like we are talking before about how, well, before the podcast, how like they're
Toys
I
are your
feel
friend.
no, I feel like they don't realize that the clitoris is full of nerves, and they're just like
Missing out.
I don't know, man. They're going too hard and shit, and it's like they're going too fast or too hard, and it's just like the clitoris
They
has
act like they're
double.
playing Mario
Yeah,
Party.
we have isn't it like double the neurons in a dick?
Something like that.
Cells,
Cause it,
whatever, some scientific word.
oh yeah, the nerve cells.
Nerve cells. There you go.
I think it's because like the clit is literally like
It's
an
the
unformed like tip
penis.
of the
Yeah, it
dick,
is. It is.
but it's all the sensitivity of the entire tip concentrated
Yeah,
into
it
one
is
point.
because like people.
So you have to think of it as if that's like you just fucking slapping around your dick like.
Oh, because people that are trans that start testosterone, the clit grows into a penis, and it can
Mhm.
grow up to like 2-3 inches. So it's like it is a penis. But yeah, imagine slapping your dick around
Yeah,
or
exactly.
like
Like at that rate, like
like nah, bruh. But also, I
no,
feel like again about like my dick is enough that we were talking
yeah,
before about how guys don't want to use toys because their dick is enough or they're too insecure about it.
yeah.
They forget the clit exists and that the minority of women here, the percentage, 18.4% of women only orgasm inside the vagina.
No, from the
No,
clit.
it's inside the vagina.
No.
Like I remember.
Oh no, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I wrote that wrong. Sorry.
Inside it, like 18.4% of women come inside the vagina, which means 80% something more come from the clit, which is the majority of women. So I feel like guys need to get that in their head that like unless you do a fuck ton of foreplay or you actually make her come after you come instead of stopping it.
Yeah, like we said before, the
Like we
whole
said before,
guy's done, I'm done, we're all done,
we're all
whatever.
done. I came in 2 seconds. Bye. We're done.
Yeah, we have a bunch of stats from this that are just crazy to talk
Yeah.
about. Cause one of them that's pretty obvious. 95% of men ejaculate every single time.
Every single time. 95%.
That's That's
That's
crazy.
fucking
That's
crazy.
crazy for me, to
And
be honest.
then the next one, 59% of women faked orgasms.
Yeah.
Uh, that means a majority of women have faked an orgasm every single encounter they've had,
Yeah.
which is fucking crazy. I don't know if it's because they're just sick of it or it's because they just want to give pleasure to the guy that like he succeeded in making her come or something.
It's definitely a mix of the two
Yeah.
because like they have to kind of preserve his alpha mentality.
Yeah, his alpha his
Um,
insecurity, his
preserve.
ego, give his
Yeah.
ego.
Yeah. Stroke his ego.
Again, about the pressure that women get from men to give them what they want, right?
Exactly. Um, yeah, no, here's another one. 65% of hetero women have had an orgasm from sex. This
Yeah.
is not every time, by the way. This is just an
In
orgasm from
general,
sex.
yeah. 95% every single time, 65% in general. What? That's in their entire lifetime.
Yeah.
That means a big fucking percentage
And that's the
never
thing.
have an
That's
orgasm.
that's sex in general. So that's even
Yeah.
including the ones that do get clitoral stimulation.
Yeah. And that's just sad. Imagine you die and you never like had an orgasm. That's
Yeah.
a big percentage. What is that? 100 minus 65. I'm fucking taking the calculator out.
No, but
35%.
Mm.
That's a big percentage of women that never came. Never got an
yeah.
orgasm. Yeah, that's what I was trying to calculate.
Okay. Yeah, no, sorry. I was reading the wrong one.
Oh.
Uh
Then
86%
yeah.
of homosexual women, so lesbians. I don't know if this study accounted for bi people or any
No,
kind of
no, it's
queers.
only because by women it's 66%.
Yeah, okay.
That was in the study too. I
Um
didn't tell you. But.
so yeah.
Homosexual women, 86%
Yeah.
every time they have sex.
Yeah, 86% of the time they orgasm every time during sex, which is much better stat.
Uh, it's much better than that. Yeah, coming
That
to
seems a
that
lot more like just normal in general what the average
should be, yeah.
Yeah. Because it's not always gonna work as a whole, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And about that's all those percentages too comes with straight couples or straight hookups, whatever, lasts only 6 minutes, and women with women is 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That's just so funny. It's just no further comments.
This is getting back to our point before of how when the guy's done we're done, which is fucking
Yeah, cause
that's stupid, bro. Just fucking like we said before, when guys talk about so much about returning the favor, do it for once in your life too.
period.
uh
Marco said it here, guys.
let's go.
2022.
And then 89% of gay men orgasm
Yeah,
with sex.
but that's pretty expected.
Yeah, that is
Because
more
guys come a
expected.
lot faster, and it's a lot easier for men to come.
Yeah, but you'll notice that's still lower than straight men.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, that's because it's better and they want it to last longer. And you do have some kind of control over that more than men think.
Yeah.
Or men have the willpower to do.
That's true.
Yeah, that was most of what we were talking about when it comes to orgasms. I don't know. Did you have any
Yeah.
other points you wanted to say?
I mean, women can orgasm multiple times during one session, and women orgasms are a lot more longer, but also a lot more intense.
Yeah.
Right, and also the like, for a lot of guys, but I feel for also women, there's like the after depression when they have an orgasm.
Post nut clarity.
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like a lot of people like think it's not normal, but it is actually normal that
is
after
normal.
you
That is
orgasm,
normal.
you kind of like either freak out or like cry or like whatever type of down you get.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's almost like, what is it, dopamine or something?
Yeah, it's dopamine.
Yeah, it's
It
dopamine.
works.
It goes
Sex works
up,
in the same
and
way
then
as drugs.
it crashes, right? So,
I think like if you're talking about like pure dopamine points, I don't know what the actual units for dopamine is, but I'll call them points. I'm pretty sure sex and heroin have the same amount.
Damn.
So like I'm talking about like an orgasm.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, have
Damn.
the same amount. So
That's interesting.
it you know, when you don't feel high from heroin anymore, you're gonna be pretty depressed, you know, right?
Hmm.
Like that's just kind of how
Yeah.
drugs work. And to our
Molly.
main, it's no different. Yeah, well, Molly is more on the serotonin, which is
Yeah.
why it's more long
Damn, you
lasting.
smart man.
But yeah, it's working on your dopamine, so that's just how it works. But yeah, did you want to get into our next topic
Yeah,
then?
let's do that.
Okay, you could lead it if you want.
Okay, it's about dating apps, guys. Um, so how like I'm so confused. What was I saying? It's not me, guys.
Do
It's
you
the
want me
weed.
to
No. I got it.
continue?
I got it. How I don't think you wrote it down, but about how dating apps when you're at least Tinder when you're non-binary or a woman looking for a woman, they would put straight women.
Mm,
So it's just like, aren't you supposed to
yeah, that's
like?
so weird.
That's so weird. Also, the entire thing
D-
about how it's based on looks. Obviously, the hot girl that with the perfect body, the hot blonde girl that with the perfect body is gonna get 100 like
yeah,
likes and
and the
plus.
algorithm promotes that. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
People don't realize that like places like Tinder, Bumble, or whatever, they have
Grinder.
similar. They have true. They have similar algorithms to like TikTok or YouTube or Instagram or whatever, to where they show you the perfect ratio of things you want to see and don't want to see,
Mhm.
to the point where you're gonna stay the longest amount of time possible. And that includes how people's personalities are, because when you're filling out these profiles, you're giving them a whole bio of data.
Yeah, that's
You're
true.
giving them tags of like, what type of food do you like. I remember like when I was on
Mm.
Bumble for like a month, like like they
And you
asked
got
like,
kicked out of Tinder because you were pretending to be Mike Zuckerberg. I forgot his name.
yeah, but so like they asked like, you know, what's your preference of food, what's your type of movie
What's your
that you like.
zodiac sign?
Yeah, they asked the zodiac sign. They ask like all these questions. Obviously this data is being siphoned through an algorithm to give you the perfect ratio of
Mm-hmm.
people who will treat you like shit and will treat you well, will treat you like shit and will treat you well.
Yeah. But let's be honest, like these dating apps were first made for like actual relationships
Yeah,
and it just came back to hookup
devolved.
culture,
It just
right?
devolved. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's because of the way it was
Gen
monetized, right?
setters.
So that's a thing. Something like the old Match.com or whatever,
Yeah.
like you know how they used
Yeah.
to, or eHarmony or whatever. It used to be like just a subscription. I think either like a subscription or you just paid straight up or something.
Mm.
And because of that, they didn't really care how the engagement was.
Yeah. Okay, that's true.
But because of like all the microtransactions and shit on phone apps now, like they want you on the app as long as possible
Mm.
so that you're more inclined to pay,
That's true.
so that you
Oh
feel worse about
shit.
yourself. You can't seem to be finding any of the people you like. Why don't I just check who my likes are? It's only $5.
Okay. That's sad. And also about how like it this kind of goes in the dating apps, but when guys get rejected, they get so offended.
Mm.
But even in real life, if a guy like is trying to make out with you or like wants to have sex with you and you're like no, he gaslights you.
Yeah, it's like it's a pity party.
Yeah.
It's interesting how much uh how prevalent that is when it comes to guys, because it's like guys who are like seemingly normal in every other sense, like they'll just like I feel like it just ties a lot back to like if you're like insecure or not,
It comes to your
because
ego too, right?
well yeah, that is definitely
Yeah.
insecurity. But yeah, like it's just such a stupid thing in my mind that you feel entitled in any sense towards anyone. Like you could be dating someone for 5 years, and if they break up with you, they break up with you. You're gonna have to deal with it, dumbass. It doesn't fucking matter if you cry or not.
Mm, that's
Like
deep.
that's not gonna be the true influence of like whether they'll take you back.
Mm, good point.
Like
That's smart. Also, about how, like, it's good how they made Bumble that when it comes to heterosexual couples, the girl needs to contact the guy before. Because on Tinder, a lot of women get harassed like crazy by guys. And
yeah,
Bumble, like, the girl at least can decide who
yeah.
gets
What's
contacted.
weird about that in terms of Bumble, because this is the one I actually used, um, is like I obviously have myself set to non-binary on my profile. As soon as I set that, it asked me show to people who prefer male or female.
I remember that. I also got that. I forgot what I put.
I, I
I
mean,
just
I obviously just put male just because like a male like showing, like presenting, but like the
I think they
that's just a
updated it
stupid
though.
thing. I
For
have no idea. I haven't
yeah.
been on it in 2 years.
Yeah, I think they updated it.
But it's just so funny to me how like it's still like it comes back full circle in that sense.
Yeah.
Like they
It's
ask
a
me my
thing.
gender, I pick non-binary out of male, female. Not finally an app that lets me pick non-binary, male or female, right after. What the fuck?
Uh
um,
Struggles, man.
but
For real.
I was gonna say something else when it came to that. But yeah, no, that's funny too because uh because like I never got to text first on Bumble because of that, because I picked male as as whatever
Oh, really?
show to prefer.
Oh, but now they have non-binary. Anyone that's
Yeah.
non-binary can text first.
Okay.
Yeah, like yeah. They updated it. But you can also put pronouns now, which is better.
Yeah, I think I had my
Yeah.
pronouns too. I don't know. But that's still weird even in 2020. Like for Bumble was
Even
supposed
yeah,
to
in
be the
2020, yeah.
one that was like ahead of everything in terms of like equality.
True.
But either way, they're still siphoning you for money as much as they can.
It's getting expensive now. Some are like $50 for the month. Yeah, bro. I swear to
Bruh,
God. Let me Google this. Let me.
if you're making a subscription, I find it like here, this is a message to every company, even though there's no company that's gonna watch
Oh, they're
this.
gonna watch because we're awesome.
So if you're ever gonna make a subscription service, immediately test your benchmark in terms of pricing to Netflix. If it's more than $15 a month, it has to be more worth it to your customer than Netflix, right?
I'm confused. Oh no,
Because
no, okay,
Netflix.
it's $15 a month.
Okay, yeah.
I was pretty
Either
close, I
way,
think.
either way, having fucking Bumble Gold or whatever the fuck it's
Yeah,
called is not worth Netflix.
yeah, that's true.
It's
You
not
wanna meet
worth
someone? Go to
Disney
a fucking
Plus.
bar.
It's not worth Spotify. It's
Hmm,
like if you're gonna make a fucking subscription service, make it worth something. That's why like
that's true.
it's funny.
Good
This is
point.
a little tangent revolving around gaming. We're on Twitch, so this is
Mhm.
okay. um, what was I gonna say? Fuck! I immediately forgot. No, I got it again. So like for a while, ever since Netflix was a thing, there's been companies who have been like trying here and there to like jump into the subscription
Yeah.
service. And like it's been a struggle for a lot of companies because they can't really get the licenses for a lot of like bigger games and
Hmm.
shit. And because of that, like when the subscription is like $15 a month and you only have like rando games, even though it's a lot of games, like even if like you need those big hitters, just like Netflix launched with all the big movies and TV shows,
Hmm.
right? So that's why Xbox Game Pass, because Xbox made a subscription service. That's why that one's the biggest one now, because Microsoft has the money to get those
That's
licenses,
true.
and
Okay,
they've been
period.
buying up companies to not have to pay any licenses so they can just make the games.
Mm,
So, like,
that's cool.
my point in saying all that is that, like, your fucking dating app, if you're gonna have a subscription service, make it like $3.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, like, don't make it 15. Like, holy crap.
True. Mm.
But yeah,
Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
I don't know.
Can you
There's
talk
nothing.
about how awkward it is when parents approach their children about sex? I feel like it depends on the household, but
Yeah,
can
it
I just say
does.
about how, like, I'm South American, and I feel like for immigrants, it is not emotions and sex is not talked
Yeah.
about at all. So it's like super super awkward, and a lot of them are a lot more strict about it, right? So
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, it's definitely like a per family basis, but I feel like as a whole, like it is just like way too weirdly like no parent
but then
really
on
knows how to
Pornhub
do
they
that.
will over sexualize families. Okay.
Mm, but no, like it's just, yeah, no, it's interesting how it's like so disconnected the generational gap got, I guess, in that
Yeah.
sense. Um
Like how now we over talk about it, and
mhm.
back then they didn't talk about it that much.
Mhm.
Like now everybody knows everybody's sexuality, everybody knows who sleeps with who, and
Mhm.
because hookup culture became such a norm,
Yeah.
it's like
I mean, yeah,
doesn't
no,
matter.
it it definitely like was the case in even like our parents' generation, I'm sure. But that's just because sex was more stigmatized and was more, like we said, like a sacred thing. Um so like it
Jesus
was,
between us, right?
yeah, exactly, like it was something that was discussed with your married,
Lover.
with your spouse, and
Yeah.
that's it, nothing else, right? um Whereas now, like, we realize like it is something very inherent to the human being in a lot of senses, so it's very important for us to talk about it as a whole, right? Like, people have gotten to that point, but it's been difficult for a lot of parents to bridge that gap.
That's true. Good point. And I feel like it's even harder when you're trans and non-binary to
Yeah,
even
no.
approach that subject.
Yeah.
Especially, oh yeah, we didn't put it, but how, you know, we were talking like before the podcast about like once the trans person gets their bottom surgery, how it can be even more like difficult, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not like once they heal, yeah, but I feel like let's say like non-binary people like that did do some surgeries and did do some hormones. They usually most non-binaries don't fully transition,
Hmm.
but it can make it really like difficult, right?
Yeah,
For
not just
anything,
because of the dysphoria, but even like because just
the dangerous
the
too.
nature of the surgeries, and just
Mm,
like you said, yeah, there's danger inherently in any kind of surgery, right?
yeah,
So like it's kind of like it you never know if you're gonna be functional at the end, right? Like,
true, but also for your own like your own safety. Like before, we were talking about how like trans people and non-binary can't really like hook up, right? Because it can be dangerous. They
yeah.
can, but it's more difficult
Yeah.
because if you don't disclose it, like some guy will be like, "Ew, what the fuck? Why didn't you tell me you were trans? You have a penis, ew,"
Yeah.
like type of shit. So I feel like that's kind of dangerous.
Yeah. uh I guess we should leave it off there,
Yeah,
huh?
bro, let's get some food. Bro, we
I
ate some jalapeno chips before this.
I
Bomb.
peace, guys.
Peace.